My name is Catherine Jones. I'm a Senior HR Generalist with CSG in Bismarck, and today's webinar is for 2020 benefits. Our agenda for today is high deductible health plans, preventative care, doctor on demand, health savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, OMADA, share care, learn to live, and then we'll have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. All right, so what is a high deductible health plan? These are medical insurance plans designed in line with IRS limits. That means there's a minimum and a maximum deductible, and there's maximum and minimum out-of-pockets that have to be set within these ranges in order for the IRS to allow a company to name their medical insurance plan a high deductible health plan. High deductible health plans allow for lower monthly premiums in exchange for that higher deductible, and it allows employees to have a health savings account. Important thing we want to talk about in regards to medical insurance is preventative care. So preventative care is sort of like self-maintenance. So you should think of your doctor visits much like you think of vehicle maintenance for your car or truck. So you wouldn't continue to drive your car forever without getting the oil changed, or most of us know you shouldn't drive it with the check engine light on. So you want to make sure you take care of yourself the same way you would take care of your vehicle, and it'll help you catch issues before they become expensive. So while you're in the shop or otherwise at that doctor's visit, you also want to make sure you keep the conversation to preventative. If you ask your doctor about things that are not considered preventative under our insurance plan, that can cause you to receive a bill for the visit. Now, if you ever do receive a bill for the visit, you'll want to reach out to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota's customer service department to find out why. And then you may also need to call your doctor's office to ask that they resubmit the bill, because sometimes those bills for preventative visits are received as a result of how the clinic or doctor's office has submitted the bill to insurance. A little bit more about preventative care. So what is considered an eligible or otherwise covered preventative care service for you will depend upon your age, gender, and family history. Commonly discussed during a preventative care visit includes your current health, your family health history, past illnesses and surgeries, risks you have for specific conditions, as well as how to maintain a healthy lifestyle. These preventative care visits are typically covered 100% by the plan, but again, when you go to the doctor for these, you need to make sure that you are only discussing matters related to preventative care to ensure the plan does cover it. And then the screenshot here shows an example of what the company plan covers, and what's covered depends upon your age and your gender. And if you wish to view a full list of preventative care coverage, you can visit bluecrossmnonline.com to view that full list. All right, now I just want to talk a little bit about Doctor on Demand. This telemedicine benefit allows employees and their dependent to see a doctor without leaving their home. You just need a smartphone, tablet, or computer and have the Doctor on Demand app, or you would visit the Doctor on Demand website, and it allows you to see a medical doctor for as little as $48 per visit. You can also use this service for psychologists or psychiatrists, but the charge for that will be higher than the medical doctor at $48. Doctor on Demand costs will be covered at 80% after you meet your deductible, so it's possible that the fee for using this service is even less after you meet your deductible. So next I'm going to talk about health savings accounts. So how does an HSA work? So eligible employees are automatically set up with a health savings account upon their enrollment in a high deductible health insurance plan. So To be considered eligible for a health savings account, that means you are not covered by another medical plan that is not high deductible, and that includes any part of Medicare. Your spouse cannot have a flexible spending account, and you cannot be claimed as a dependent on anyone else's tax return. So if you're determined to be eligible for a health savings account, you'll automatically be set up with an account at Further. And then once you receive your debit card, you'll need to register your account online or through the smart app with Further. A health savings account is an actual savings account, so it will earn interest tax-free. Funds do need to be deposited into the account before you can spend it. And payroll contributions are pre-tax, so taxable income may be reduced. Now, there are some states, such as California and New Jersey, that tax the employee and employer contributions at the state level, but you'll still see a federal tax savings if you choose to contribute through payroll into your health savings account. So benefits of a health savings account is that you can reimburse yourself for out-of-pocket expenses. If you end up having an expense that needs to be paid before you have enough funds in your account, you can pay out of pocket and then reimburse yourself later on. All unused funds roll over every year. So whether it's $1 or $1,000, whatever you have at the end of a calendar year will roll over into the next year. The money goes with you if you leave the company. Funds can be used to pay for certain insurance premiums. That includes COBRA, Medicare after you reach age 65, or long-term care. After age 65, funds can be used for non-medical expenses. And those expenses are then just treated like you're withdrawing from a 401k after you get to age 65. If your account gets to have over $1,000 in it, you can invest those dollars through the Hello Further website, and they have a partnership with Charles Schwab. Any earnings on those investments are tax-free. Of course, there is a small fee to invest funds, and there's always the chance that instead of growing your HSA funds, you may see a loss because it is an investment. Each year, the IRS sets maximum contributions that can go into the health savings account. What you can contribute to your health savings account each year depends upon the level of medical insurance that you have. And the IRS limit is also a combination of what you receive in employer funding and what you contribute through payroll contributions. So here you can just see employer funding plus employee contribution needs to be at or below the IRS limit. Now, if you're age 55 or better, you can contribute an additional $1,000 each year in catch-up contributions, and this is in addition to the regular contribution. With a health savings account, you can change your payroll contributions at any time during the year, so long as you are at or below the IRS limit. If you wish to change your payroll contributions, you simply need to contact your local HR or payroll department to complete a new HSA contribution form. An added benefit of having a health savings account is that you can grow it for retirement. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and we suggest taking the same approach when building your HSA. So if you were to contribute $50 a check for 26 pay periods, this is $1,300 that would go into your health savings account. Assuming a 25% tax bracket, this saves you $12.50 per check because it reduces your overall federal taxable income, and that potentially saves you $325 over the course of the year. Now, if you're age 55 or better, again, you can contribute an additional $1,000 each year. And after age 65, your HSA funds can be used for anything. Medicare premiums, going on vacation, house remodeling, whatever you might want to use or need to use those dollars for, you can. because after age 65, withdrawals from your HSA are treated the same way and taxed the same way as if you were taking a distribution from your 401k. I am going to discuss flexible spending accounts. So flexible spending accounts are most beneficial to you if you can fully fund your HSA up to the maximum annual contribution limit. If you cannot fund your HSA in full, then a flexible spending account might not be as valuable of an asset to you as a fully funded HSA would be. It can also be beneficial if you know you're going to have a high dental, vision, or orthodontia expense, because having an FSA allows you to save your HSA funds for future medical expenses. If you want to have access to the FSA election at the beginning of the plan year, like you know you have an expense right away in January, you are able to access flexible spending account funds immediately without the funds coming out through payroll contributions. So you could spend all $2,700 right away in January and spend the rest of the year paying back that account. Now, I need to point out that a flexible spending account is not a benefit offered by all of our companies currently, so this information may not apply to you. There are two different types of flexible spending accounts. The first is a healthcare account. Our company's healthcare FSA is considered a limited purpose account. This means that you can contribute to an FSA while still being able to establish and contribute to a health savings account. But this also means that healthcare FSA dollars can only be used for vision or dental or orthodontia expenses until you've met your medical deductible. So if you have both a flexible spending account and a health savings account, you can only use your flexible spending account dollars for dental and vision until you've met your plan deductible. Medical insurance plan deductible. The IRS limit for a healthcare FSA is $2,700. And you can have a healthcare FSA without having medical insurance with the company. Okay, so dependent care flexible spending accounts. This has a $5,000 IRS limit maximum for the household. So if your spouse also has the option of taking out a dependent care FSA, between the two of you, you want to make sure you do not go over the $5,000 limit. Otherwise, when it comes to tax filing time, there may end up being a penalty for over contributing as a household. Dependent care FSAs are used to pay for eligible dependent care programs. So this means daycare, after school, nursery school, or disabled dependent care. It is not an account to pay for your dependents' medical expenses. And your elections, it's important to note for both flexible spending accounts, the healthcare and the dependent care, whatever you select for an annual contribution, for the most part, is locked in during the year, and you will not be able to change it until open enrollment for the next year. A few reminders for flexible spending accounts is each year you have until March 31st to submit for reimbursement of prior year expenses. So for those of you on the phone who might have had a flexible spending account in 2019, you have until March 31st of 2020 to reimburse yourself for prior year expenses. You can do this online by calling their customer service or downloading the app that they have for smartphones and tablets. After March 31st, you will not be able to reimburse yourself for prior year expenses. And then after the 31st, further will evaluate the remaining balance in prior year flexible spending accounts, as you can only roll over between $50 and $500 in unused funds each year. You want to make sure you reimburse yourself for all eligible expenses by March 31st, to ensure that your balance is under 500 if you wish to roll it over. Otherwise, anything over 500 or under 50 will be forfeited. Any questions on flexible spending accounts or HSAs? All right, I'm going to talk briefly then about eligible expenses. So IRS regulations for health savings account and flexible spending accounts as far as what's eligible is very similar. So a wide variety of everyday items, including home medical for diabetes care, blood pressure, respiratory, family planning, first aid, oral care, personal care, and much more, can be purchased using your HSA or FSA debit card. Your debit card can also be used at local stores or online retailers. Amazon has an FSA and HSA store. There's also another website called hsastore.com and fsastore.com where you can purchase eligible items. You'll want to make sure you keep receipts for everything that you pay for using your HSA and or FSA, because these are accounts that allow you to reduce your taxable income. The IRS at any time can choose to audit what you've spent your dollars on, so you want to make sure that you can prove that it was all eligible expenses. Otherwise, there's potential for a 20% tax penalty. All right, so what's the difference between a flexible spending account and a health savings account? So who is eligible for an FSA? That's based upon the company and whether or not they offer the benefit. For health savings account, any employee who is enrolled in a high deductible medical plan and meets the IRS eligibility guidelines can have an HSA. So the contribution limits. For a flexible spending account, healthcare, you can contribute $2,700. For a health savings account, how much you can contribute depends upon who's covered by your medical insurance. $3,550 for single, $7,100 all other tiers, and then if you're over age 55, you can contribute an additional $1,000. So will your funds roll over? Under an FSA, you can only roll over funds between $50 and $500. For an HSA, all funds roll over regardless of the amount. So whether it's $1, $1,000, $10,000, whatever you have in your health savings account will roll over. How can your funds be used? Under an FSA, you can only use those dollars for dental and vision until you've met your medical deductible. HSA, you can use the dollars for any type of eligible expense at any time. So who owns the accounts? For a flexible spending account, it is owned by the employer, while an HSA is owned by the employee. So this matters for the portability of the account. So with a flexible spending account, if you leave the company, you lose any unspent money and it stays with the employer. While with a health savings account, should you leave the company, any funds go with you and you then become responsible for the monthly account fees to further. When can you access the funds? Under an FSA, the entire annual contribution amount is available immediately. While with a health savings account, the money must be deposited before funds can be spent. If someone were to take out the full, let's say, healthcare FSA amount of $2,700 during open enrollment, and they spend all of that by mid-February, and then they leave the end of March, the negative amount sits with the company and the company becomes responsible for that. But in the same regard, if the employee contributes all their money, doesn't spend any of it and leaves the company, that money also stays with the company. So there's sort of, the company sometimes can be stuck with a negative and they sometimes get the positive. So normally there's some offsetting that can happen with how flexible spending account balances work. All right, so I just wanted to go through a couple scenarios. So in scenario 1, Shauna has both a healthcare FSA and an HSA. She's enrolled in employee-only HSA Plan 1. Her flexible spending account has a balance of $1,000, while her health savings account has $3,700. She breaks her arm and visits the ER. HSA Plan 1 has a single deductible of $2,000. Her in-network emergency room care and follow-up visits have her with a total out-of-pocket expense of $2,500. Shauna decides to pay her medical expenses with the first $2,000 coming out of her HSA to meet the plan deductible, and then she pays the remaining $500 out of her flexible spending account. And she decided to pay that remaining $500 out of her flexible spending account instead of all of it out of her HSA, is so that she can use her full $1,000 in FSA dollars, or otherwise get her balance down to the $500, which is the maximum rollover she can have in her FSA. Now, if she had other plans for those FSA dollars, like maybe she was needing for a crown or LASIK surgery or something, and she knew she was going to spend those FSA healthcare dollars, then she may choose to pay for this medical cost completely out of her health savings account. But it's all a matter of, is there a designated use for your FSA dollars? Because you want to make sure at the end of the year you do not have more than $500 in there. Otherwise, those funds will be lost. Now, in the next scenario, Shauna has only a health savings account, but she's again in HSA Plan 1 employee only. Now, her health savings account only has $300 in it because that was the employer contribution, and she has not been actively contributing through payroll. She again breaks her arm and visits the ER and has the same out-of-pocket total of $2,500 that she's responsible for. So Shauna pays for $300 of that cost out of her HSA, and it uses all of her available funds. The remaining $2,200 has to be paid for out of pocket using after-tax dollars because Shauna has not been contributing to her HSA. Now, if we again assume a 25% tax bracket in this scenario, really Shauna has to earn $2,750 in order to have that $2,200 available after tax to pay the doctor. Now, should Shauna decide to start contributing to her health savings account after this medical incident, she can pay herself back using those HSA dollars, and she'll start receiving some of the tax savings for those deposits going into her HSA pre-tax. Next, I'm going to discuss some of the services and information and functionality that Further has available through their website and app. So you can manage your account with Further through their website or their smart app, including viewing your account balance and transactions, requesting reimbursement, and investing your funds. Showing here is what their app looks like in the App Store or Google Play Store. It is compatible with both iPhones and Androids. Their web address is also here, and so is their customer service phone number. Further also has a secondary website that is learn.hellofurther.com/individuals. Here there's additional reference documents, videos on how to manage your account, and helps you learn how to navigate their website. And it also has a really cool calculator for your health savings account savings. So you can put in sort of what type of medical plan coverage you have, the deductible amounts, how many years to retirement, your current HSA balance, what you're contributing on a monthly basis, what you expect for healthcare expenses, your tax rate, and other things. And it'll help you calculate potentially how much your account could be worth after a set number of years. So this really will help you understand how you can grow your health savings account into being another retirement tool. So Delta Dental of Minnesota is our provider for dental insurance. New in 2020, the plan covers 2 cleanings a year, and they no longer have to be 6 months apart. The dental plan does have a 2-year lock-in provision. So this means after you select dental coverage, you're not able to lower the plan you have for 2 years, but you can change the tier of the plan, such as the dependents covered on it, and you can move to a higher plan at any time, but that resets your 2-year lock-in. So the lowest level of dental insurance that we have is the maintenance plan. For the most part, that covers the 2 cleanings a year and not much else. And then there's basic dental. That's sort of the middle of the road. It covers some for fillings and crowns and root canals and some of those more expensive dental procedures. And then the next plan we have is basic plus orthodontia. So the ortho benefits are only available to dependents that are under the age of 19. So if you don't have dependents that are under the age of 19, the ortho plan is not one that you'll want to enroll in because you won't be able to utilize the orthodontia benefits. If you have questions on your dental insurance, a bill you received, you need to locate an in-network dentist, print a temporary ID card, or request a replacement ID card, you can do that by visiting Delta Dental's website or calling their customer service. Okay, moving on to vision insurance then. The provider for vision insurance is VSP. You can save on eyewear and eye care when you stay in network. So if you need to find an in-network provider, you'll want to visit the VSP website or call their customer service for assistance in locating a provider. When you stay in network, the annual well vision exam only has a $10 copay. You can also shop online for glasses and contacts through the VSP website, which will then link you over to their preferred provider, Iconic. Okay, some additional benefit programs that we're going to talk about today, starting with Omada. So Omada is a digital lifestyle change program for employees and their adult dependents, and it can help you reduce your risk for certain conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, high cholesterol. And new in 2020, individuals who have already been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes can also potentially qualify. If you want to see whether or not you qualify for this free program, you just need to visit omadahealth.com/MDUR or text MDUR to 444-999, and there's just a short online assessment that you will need to take. If you are qualified for the program, it's all at no cost to you. Another benefit that employees who have our medical insurance that can participate in at no extra cost is Share Care. So Share Care is a digital platform that helps you manage your health and wellness. They have a really cool feature known as a real age test, and it'll evaluate how old your body feels it is compared to your real calendar age, and then provide suggestions on lowering that real age. You can also find health and fitness and other personalized tips. ShareCare has an app, or you can also visit their website here. You do need to have medical insurance with the company in order to use ShareCare, but there is no additional cost for using ShareCare should you choose to. All right, the next benefit we have is Learn to Live. So Learn to Live is a benefit that's available to all employees and their dependents or family members ages 13 and older. And you can use Learn to Live regardless of whether or not you have medical insurance or any other company benefits. This is a cognitive behavioral therapy program that helps manage stress, depression, social anxiety, insomnia, and is 100% private and confidential. It's available 24/7. You can visit their website, and then you'll need access code MDUR. At this time, Learn to Live does not have a smartphone app, but their website and their platform is user-friendly on mobile devices. And we just want to give another plug for all the ways that you can manage your health from anywhere using the variety of smart apps that are available for our benefit providers. So if you don't already have these, we encourage you to download and start using these apps for the benefits that you have with the company. So there's Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota, Doctor on Demand, Delta Dental, ShareCare, Further, Grand Rounds, Omada, and VSP. And then we show the icons here to help you identify the correct apps in the App Store should you wish to download and start using them. Okay, some additional resources that are available that CSG HR offers is we have a YouTube channel as well as a Microsoft Stream channel that has a few different benefit education videos. So you can see a screenshot here of our YouTube channel. It includes a video on ShareCare and that real age test. There's also My Prime is out here if you wish to learn more about prescription savings with Blue Cross Blue Shield and the different benefits that are available through My Prime. And then there's also just an HR introduction video so you can learn a little bit more about myself, Maddie Crest, and Jen Thomas. It's the three of us that make up the CSG HR team. So if you wish to receive updates on when new benefit videos are launched, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, and there were just a couple questions that came in by email prior to this session that I'm just going to go over now. So a question that was received was, can I get a debit card for my spouse? And yes, you can. So if you would like to get an additional debit card for your HSA or your FSA, you simply need to call Further's customer service and request that debit card, and you'll provide them with your spouse's name and some other validating information so that they know their request is valid. But yes, if you ever need to request additional debit cards, you certainly can do so. Next question is, do in-network medical costs count towards out-of-network medical costs? And no, they do not. In and out-of-network are separate costs, and one does not count towards the other. So that's why you want to make sure that the offices and providers you visit are in-network. So be sure to visit the provider's website or call customer service to make sure that who you're seeing is considered an in-network provider. And then, can I add a beneficiary for my HSA? Yes, you can designate a beneficiary, and you can do that within Further's website. So if you do not have a beneficiary on file, by default, the funds will go to your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, then any funds would go to your estate. If you do not have an estate, the funds would go to the unclaimed funds department with the state you live in until the next of kin went through the claim process. So if you wish to designate a beneficiary for your health savings account because you know you're going to grow that balance and use it as a retirement tool, you'll want to make sure you designate a beneficiary within Further's website. All right, and then the last question here is whether or not the debit cards can be used at a club store such as Costco or Sam's Club, and yes, it can. Well, if you do ever have questions later on, you of course can contact your local HR, or otherwise CSG HR is available at the following email address, csgcorporatehr@mdu.com, for any questions or concerns you have on any of your company offered benefits. We are available to help, and we're just an email away. So thank you everyone for your time and attention during today's benefit webinar. Have a great rest of your day and work week.